So, hi everyone. I'm very thankful for joining us today. And my name is Liya Chestina. I'm a business development manager at user acquisition team at Yandex Ads. And I'm thrilled to be here today to discuss one of the topics which has been gaining attraction in the world of mobile marketing. So today we'll be focusing on what we call alternative app stores. And these stores have emerged more and more mobile vendor platforms for developers to distribute their app. And today we will speak about its advantages, its challenges, in order to understand if it can serve as a mobile growth driver for app developers. But first, let me tell you a little bit more about ourselves. So Yandex Ads is basically all-in-one solution for the app developers. As DSP, we are offering user acquisition, and we have our exclusive traffic from the Yandex search engine, which is actually top 5 search engines in the world. We also have exclusive traffic from our services like streaming platforms and others. And we have a massive ad network with over 300K active publishing partners. And for publishers, we are offering in-app monetization with over 200 ad sources. And additionally, we provide extra services like Appmetrica for tracking your key business analytics, Yandex Pay as a payment solution, and easy monetization service, which helps app developers to set up advertising monetization. And as a DSP, we've started our collaboration with alternative stores by the end of last year, I guess. And so far, we see great opportunities there for app developers, but it's also interesting for us to speak about it from the global perspective because, firstly, we have a very unique type of integration at Yandex, which is not like market normal at the moment. And secondly, generally, the alternative stores topic is pretty fresh and young on the market. And before we go to the panel discussion with our amazing colleagues from GameAnalytics, Appnext, and Brightica, first, I would like to highlight a few trends around Android market. So, obviously, Android market landscape is not without its challenges, and let me just mention a few key trends here we are watching right now. The first visible trend is that in some categories of the app, the CPI cost is growing year-on-year basis. For example, for simulation games, CPI cost grew up by 30%. For puzzle games, CPI cost grew up to $3. And well, I've heard a lot around hyper-casual CPIs here on the conference. We see that there is an increase too. The second, pretty obvious trend is that Google Play is saturated with a high competition, and some of the app developers find it increasingly difficult to grow their visibility in Google Play Store. And shockingly, 92% of the apps struggle to exceed 10K downloads mark. The third trend is that there are already millions of devices on the market which do not collaborate with Google Play Store. For example, Huawei devices. And in Turkey, it's 4 or 5 million of Huawei devices. So basically, the app developer with Google Play app only cannot reach this audience. And as a result, we see that app developers are exploring new opportunities, and from Yandex monetization side, we see more and more app developers reaching us with the need to monetize their application in alternative stores. So let me show you quickly the worldwide shipment share dynamics in the first 2 quarters of the year. So what do we see here? Well, Samsung keeps top 1 position regarding the number of shipments. But also we see that Android devices like Xiaomi and others are growing as well, whereas Apple's share is decreasing. And as we know, some of the Android brands have very ambitious plans in terms of growing the number of shipments by this year. For example, for Huawei, it's 40 million devices planned for this year. And the key point here is that all these major vendors are developing their own alternative stores right now. And actually, the key idea here is that there are more than 2 apps. In fact, there are 300 alternative stores on the market right now, and this number keeps growing. And now, the era of a simple duopoly is evolving into a rich ecosystem with new possibilities. And now, advertisers and mobile app developers can explore very different kind of alternative stores. For example, niche Samsung Galaxy Play Store, App Gallery from Huawei, Get Apps from Xiaomi, Oppo, Viva, others. And there are also some alternative stores presented by a global ecosystem like Amazon, Microsoft, and others. But what do we know about these stores so far? Well, there are not so much information about it at the moment, but I do have some to share with you today. So if we speak about the Xiaomi app market, they already got 200 billion downloads worldwide, and with a monthly active audience of 100 million users, they are really creating an impact. If we speak about App Gallery from Huawei, they already operate in 170 countries and showing impressive results regarding monthly active audience and the number of downloads. If we look at the Amazon, we see that they mostly operate in the US, and with a monthly active audience of 70 million, it's evident that they're having a significant audience as well. And interesting note, if you look at the graph here, you can see that App Gallery is catching up with Apple App Store in terms of number of available apps. And the key ideas here is that alternative stores already can provide you a big audience. And in some cases, this audience is absolutely unique. Again, if we speak about the Huawei devices. But what about the results? Can it bring new horizons to the app developers? What about the performance? And I will show you some results we are having at Yandex. But first, let me tell you a little bit more about how it works regarding user acquisition at Yandex. And as I said before, our type of integration is kind of unique for the market, and it definitely affects the whole picture. So, as I told you before, we are working with the alternative stores for almost a year, and now we're collaborating with App Gallery from Huawei and Get Apps from Xiaomi. And basically, the user acquisition campaign works as a combined type of campaign. So, mobile advertiser set up a campaign for Google Play, and inside this campaign, he turns on the integration with App Gallery or Get Apps. And if the final user sees the advertisement from Huawei or Xiaomi devices, we bring him straight to the alternative store. And if he sees the advertisement from another Android device, we lead him to the classic Google Play. So, as a result, a mobile advertiser can get conversions, installs from Google Play, App Gallery, and Get Apps within one campaign. And from monetization side, we provide the support for all major alternative stores like Amazon, App Gallery, Get Apps, and many, many others. So basically, our product simplifies the process, allowing app developers to discover these new alternative stores opportunities for both user acquisition and monetization. And now, let's go to the results. So I will speak about our internal results, and I will mention some advantages, disadvantages here. So if we talk about the advantages, the first very visible advantage is that most of the advertisers could see a great boost regarding the reach and growing the number of conversions. Generally, it's a growth of 30%, but we did see some cases where the increase was around 40–50%, which is pretty amazing. The second very important trend and very important result we are getting is that CPI and CPA costs in alternative stores tend to be notably lower, generally by 20%. But again, we did see some cases where the results were reduction of 30–50%. So, but actually, yes, there are some disadvantages here as well. Well, not disadvantages, challenges. The first, pretty obvious one, is that app developer must commit in publishing and maintaining his application in different stores, which definitely requires some extra resources from his side. The second main thing here is that alternative stores generally concentrated in a specific regions. For example, let's take Indonesia. The share of Huawei devices in Indonesia is 3%, which definitely limits any possibilities of growing your app through app gallery there. So, and now let me show you some cases we've seen. So, we have a partner, which is basically a very big financial app, and they reached us with the need to grow their user database. And they run user acquisition campaign with a GetApps integration with us, and they've seen amazing results within this campaign. First, they could increase the number of installs by 4 times. And moreover, and more interesting, that on the same time, they could optimize the CPI cost by 20%. Well, but this is like CPI metrics, and I know that now more and more developers are focused on CPI optimization, on metrics which bring them revenue. So can alternative stores help you with CPI optimization targets? And we do have some case here as well. Our other partner, which is like a broker app, they had a target of growing a newly open accounts inside the application. And they run user acquisition campaign with App Gallery integration with us. And firstly, they could increase the number of newly open accounts 3 times. But what is more impressively here, that they could optimize the CPI cost by impressive 54%. So the crucial insights here is that alternative stores can not only increase the volume, but also they can bring you an engaged audience who will interact with your app. And what about the monetization side? We also have a very nice gaming partner working with us, and they started monetization with their App Gallery application. And within their monetization, they could increase eCPM for interstitial banners by interstitial ads by 20%. But what is more impressive here, that they could grow eCPM for banners by incredible 100%. So basically, the idea here in this case represents that alternative store can be considered as an additional revenue stream for your business. And please let me finish my presentation here, and let's proceed with a panel discussion with our amazing colleagues. Let me invite you here, Sean, Gözde, Matvey, please come to the stage. Yeah. Thank you very much. Oh, let's check if microphone is working.
Hello.
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 Yes.
Okay,
oh
perfect.
My God, my voice is
Yeah. So let's start with the introduction. Can you please tell us a little bit more about yourself? What are you doing as a business, and how do you collaborate with alternative stores right now? Let's start from you, Matvey.
Hello, my name is Matthew. I am from Brightica, and I don't see my face on this banner. Brightica is a team of experts in game industry with experience more than 10 years. Now we are focusing on publishing and scaling various types of games on different types of monetization, including in-app and ads monetization, in-app apps, and hybrid models of monetization. About a year ago, we decided to start publishing on alternative stores.
Which one
Amazon,
did you use?
Amazon.
Okay.
Windows stores, and about a month ago, we published our game on Yandex store.
Oh, nice.
Primarily our expertise about Amazon and WinStore.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Let's discuss.
Yes, can you please tell us more about yourself?
Hi, it's Gözde Alemli. I'm responsible for global growth in Appnext and also acting as Country Manager Turkey. And Appnext is a leading discovery platform powering 7 billion daily app recommendations worldwide. And because we're an app discovery platform, we are allowing on-device level discovery app, and this has been like a very hot topic in the past recent years. And the reason for that, like we're going to discuss in this panel furthermore, but the efficiency and the quality of the users are amazing. And we work with nearly all Android OEM stores, I would say, except Amazon. We work with every OEM alternative stores.
So basically, you work with App Gallery, GetApps, Opera, Viva.
Yes.
It's all yours.
Yes.
Oh, nice,
Yes.
very nice. Perfect. Sean, tell us more about yourself.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Sean. I'm the head of BD and customer success here at GameAnalytics. Been with the company about 2.5 years. My primary role is to assist game development studios like yourselves into gathering the data you need to really succeed, find out a bit more about where your game's maybe falling down a tiny bit, maybe increasing engagement, retention, therefore revenue. We process 600 billion events every single month, and we have around about 25,000 individual gaming studios using our platform, which is really, really impressive. We work with all kinds of distribution channels, different app stores, not just the standard kind of mobile ones, and I'll dive into that maybe a little bit later as well.
Amazing, amazing. And first, before we go into the details with alternative stores, I wanted to ask you, like, what problems do you face regarding user acquisition, and how did it bring you to alternative stores? Matvey?
For me?
Yeah.
Big competition, yeah. So many publishers, so many developers in the main stores. And for now, we need to find new opportunities.
What type of category, like what is the category of your games mostly?
Of our games?
Yeah.
It's puzzle games.
Puzzle, okay.
Yeah. If 5 years ago, publishers and developers using Facebook and Google in user acquisition, and it was OK. Now you need to use so many channels for user acquiring. And the great opportunities, it's using our platforms to distribute your products.
Okay.
I can add a couple of things here. As also you mentioned, with the growing dependency of smartphones and apps, the app developers are looking for ways to create more value from the apps that they create. And I see actually 3 main challenges. One of them is competition, the rising competition, and finding new growth channels. I think this is an ongoing and never-ending process because you have to keep up with your game, you have to look for new technology, you have to use all features of the vendors that you're already working with. And the second one I would name is finding high-quality users and running ROAS positive campaigns, which is all advertisers are looking for, actually. And this is really important because just to give an example, according to a study, 10% of the users in gaming vertical is responsible for the 65% of the revenue, which is huge. So we have to have a good, solid user acquisition strategy. We have to measure very effectively and in very well established attribution models. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult to move forward. And last but not least, it's connected to here because we have to establish advanced attribution models and clean traffic sources. Because every app developer out there is spending lots of money on marketing investments, and if you don't have an advanced attribution model, you cannot measure correctly, you cannot decide in which to invest more and which to invest less. So therefore, I think these 3 topics are the main, biggest challenges which I see as in paid user acquisition, I would say.
Okay, so summarizing the ideas here, it's like, seems like top 2 reasons is high competition, and you want to find like some other alternative opportunities because there are high competition in major app stores. The second one is like you want to find some unique audience, which is this unicorn 10%, I guess. Okay, and so you are working with alternative stores right now, and can you share some results here, maybe some insights, maybe some advantages, challenges you are seeing here? Maybe let's start with you first.
Okay, sure. First of all on-device placements by nature has very high quality because users doesn't see this as an ad. They see as friendly recommendations, they're authentic, they build trust from the users. So therefore, all on-device placements are very efficient. But alternative store placements within on-device placements are a bit higher. In terms of, for example, if you look at the CTR of comparing on-device placements according to classical in-app advertising, it's 3 to 4 times much higher. But if you compare all on-device placements with only on-store, alternative store placements, it's also 3 to 4 times higher as well. So the efficiency and the quality of the users are very high. And to give you also like a more general data on how alternative store campaigns result, mostly, nearly in general, in all of the geos, half of the spend on only on-device campaigns is being done on alternative store placements, which is up to 5-6 placements. And these are establishing 30% of the all installs and resulting in 57% of all conversions, which means the install numbers are not that as high as the investment, but these installs bring the highest conversions, repetitive purchases, in-app purchases, and large basket values in other categories.
Sounds really interesting. Matvey, can you share your results with working with Amazon Store, for example?
Okay. We started a year ago, and now we can say it was a very successful move and very successful idea for us. We have some cases where some games weren't profitable on App Store, on Google Play, and we bring it to Amazon Store, and it became profitable with very good results for us, strong ROI for us, and some insights from Amazon stores. The behavior of gamers looks very different. When we started to making user acquisition on our Amazon game, we see very poor numbers. I mean, rows day 0, rows day 7. We think, oh, it's very bad. Yeah. It's very bad for us. But we think we still continue on some not big budget. But after 3 or 4 months, we see that with small numbers become to strong ROI numbers. It's a very different curve of LTV on Amazon Store. And developers, if you want to go to Amazon Store, keep in mind with stake. And now we have great plans for publish more games, and we're looking for new developers, new products. We know how to make it successful on Amazon, and in store it looks great too. Yeah.
Very interesting insight regarding the race of retention, like post-spawn race of ROAS in Amazon Store. Very impressive. And Sean, can you support these mobile trends with maybe some data from your side?
Yeah, so we haven't really kind of dove into this data before until now.
Okay.
And what we've seen across the whole kind of landscape, especially with games that have the GA SDK embedded, is that 95% are primarily Apple and Google, 5% are Amazon in there as well. But what we did a comparison between key gaming KPIs and about how they actually perform. So not only on a CPI perspective, but also in an in-game behavior perspective. And what we've seen is that Apple has a very high revenue generating across multiple different kind of apps, which is definitely understandable. But what we've seen, which is really interesting, is that Amazon actually has a higher day 1 retention metric than Google, and also a higher day 7 retention metric than than Apple and Google together. So bearing in mind that the cohort size is a little bit skewed, there's about 5% of those total apps on Amazon and then 95 on those two platforms. We need to do a like-for-like comparison based on games like MAU and similar kind of metrics. However, there is room to grow there. So I don't think people understand that Amazon is actually quite an interesting opportunity from a retention perspective. But yeah, we found that really interesting.
Very, very interesting. So now you have some experiments with it, but if we speak generally, do you believe that alternative stores have a future, and do you see it as some significant growth driver for app developers? Let's start with you. What do you think?
For now, I don't believe. For now, Google Play and App Store looks like a giant, and I don't see anything that will change it. But maybe now some teams works on products that can change. Maybe it's product based on Web3 technology, maybe HTML5, maybe some products will unite some different devices in our hands, and but we don't need to wait for anything. I know that some products can be successful on alternative stores. We don't need to wait something. We need to looking for opportunities, and alternative stores, it's a great way for could be the great way to make some income for your business.
Okay, and what do you think?
I actually see future.
You see the future?
In alternative OEM stores and alternative stores. Because the reason for that is it is giving the freedom of choice to developers and users. So developers can launch, scale, and profit, and users can have apps with lower prices. And the second one is it's already limited with the European Union, but the DMA, the Digital Market Acts, is also pushing towards it in European Union. But it's, I think, going to be spread. It's going to take time, obviously. It's going to take time to build trust, to build brand awareness, but there is good opportunity. And I just read it a couple of days ago, in a year, in Apple phones and iPads, it will be allowed to have alternative stores. So this is also a huge change, and it will go there step by step. But I believe it's going to grow.
Yeah, interesting point of view. Sean, what do you say here?
I think the industry will change dramatically. Actually, don't ask me when. I don't have a crystal ball in terms of saying when it will actually happen. But I reckon the days of iOS and Google Play Store being the two that basically own the market will demonopolize. And I think there'll be other platforms that are really going to come into that. For example, like Meta could actually create one. There's even talks of social media kind of platforms not linking out to these iOS and Google Play stores, and maybe will launch in their own potentially. I could definitely see that happening. But also, other app stores being released on a per market region, per country, for example, like the African region. I think there's a huge growth kind of opportunity there. I think there's a huge kind of change happening. I really do believe, and I think the pressures of iOS and Google Play would really come on them, and I think they will have to change, which would benefit the game developers from a revenue perspective, but also give opportunities to different app stores to really kind of fill in those gaps in the market as well. So I reckon it will change dramatically, but I don't know when. But I can start to feel it happening already.
Okay. So basically, summarizing of what we've discussed, it seems like for app developers, it's really important to understand that while the advantages are clear, there are some challenges to navigate through, and it's really important to align with your app goals on whether to understand if it's a right fit for you, if it's okay for your app application to work with alternative stores. And I think we are running out of time, and I would like to thank you very much for joining us today, and thank you very much for listening to us. I hope you all have a great conference and time in Istanbul. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liya.